Richard Holden.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, can I just say how much of a pleasure it is to see you back in your rightful place in the chair today? I hope my maiden speech doesn't defy convention as much as the voters of North West Durham did in returning the first Conservative MP ever for that constituency. I will work hard for everyone from every political tradition in my constituency over the next few years to repay the trust that they have placed in me. I'd like to first of all pay tribute to the outgoing MP, Laura Pidcock. Although we're from very different political angles, with very different political philosophies, I recognise particularly the work that she did for the men who were victims of sexual abuse in the 1960s and 70s and 80s at the Medemsley Detention Centre, and would continue that campaign. And I'm sure that all members of this House will join me in wishing her and her young family every success in her new role as Chief of Staff to the Honourable Member for Leeds East in his quest for the deputy leadership of the Labour Party. North West Durham is a stunningly beautiful place, and I can readily admit, as everyone can tell from my accent, that I grew up on the wrong side of the Pennines, albeit in a very similar area with some very similar challenges. From Killop Cross to Burnhope and Ebchester to Wittonley Weir, covering much of the former County Durham districts of Weir Valley and Derwentside, my constituency of North West Durham is quite a large one. There are many local campaigns that I am already stuck into and which are required to help drive our local economy and the good, well-paid jobs that are the backbone of a strong economy. Investment in our high streets in Crook, Willington and Consett. Investment in transport, particularly in rural bus services in Weardale and Towlaw and the villages across the constituency. And in the north of the constituency, investment, hopefully, in a new rail line. Consett and the surrounding areas of one of the largest population centres in England without a rail line, despite having 4 rail lines there as recently as the 1960s. I'll be campaigning for a feasibility study to reconnect our area to the growth centres of the North East, with a cycle and walkway alongside it. And if this proves viable, as I hope it will, I'll be campaigning for public money to put our area plugged in to the Northern Powerhouse. I'll also be campaigning for investment into services that support local people, like Shotley Bridge Hospital, which I hope will be protected for the long term. And over time, I'll be campaigning for a modern hospital to replace it. Consett has a proud heritage, a heritage of steel manufacture that goes back centuries. But the steelworks were closed 40 years ago, and now we have to look forward to the future. Over the weekend, I visited the Genesis project that is providing much investment into both housing and new industry into the constituency. I'll also be campaigning for our rural communities and for the jobs that continue to exist there, particularly in our agricultural and rural economy. We have an absolutely stunning area of outstanding natural beauty, World Heritage Site, but those places cannot exist in stasis, and in fact the Eastgate Cement Works site, which was closed in 2002, when there was over 100 jobs lost there, is still vacant, and I'll be campaigning for investment to put that place back to use. On the national level, there are a few things I'd like to ally myself to, one of which really does affect my constituency quite significantly, and that is vehicle excise duty on motorhomes. My constituency is one of the largest producers of these in the country, and they've already been hit by a huge increase in vehicle excise duty, and I hope that the government front bench will listen to my pleas to see that reversed. I'll also be campaigning, as one might expect, knowing me, for a cut in beer duty. We have per head. We have many more pubs than average, including many excellent wet pubs in the constituency. I think of the Black Lion in Woolsingham and the Steel Club, which I've been holding in concert, in which I've been holding my surgeries. And I hope that the government will also pay attention to these pleas too. On a slightly different note, I'd also I'd also like to see the government investing in the PAWS programme. It's something that I saw in action when I was working in the Department of Education, and I'd like to see that really rolled out nationally. It's not a huge amount of money, but it will really help women who, particularly at the most vulnerable time after they've had children taken into care. And it's something that was piloted by a Labour council in one of the poorest areas of East London. And I think it's something which all members from all sides of the House could support being seen across the entire country. Furthermore, I'd like to, again in the education side, see technical and vocational education really at the centre of the government's agenda for the future. I'm very proud to see the 20 institutes of technology that will be pushed out across the country, including one in the North East. And I really want to see technical and vocational education at the heart of everything we do to drive productivity, particularly in the North East of England. There's another campaign that many honourable members have been involved in, and that was against fixed odds betting terminals. I'd like to see online gambling and online fixed odds betting face the same restrictions as those. If we're going to ban people walking into bookmakers to gamble online, to gamble large sums, I think we should also look at the gambling which can take place in people's homes and in people's bedrooms or even in the bath. It's one of those things which reaches into every aspect of people's lives, and I think it's a really important thing that the government should look at in the coming years, and I'll certainly be part of any campaigns which look at restricting that. Finally, on the campaigns I'll be involved in, I'd also like to make a personal shout-out for a review of legal aid. It was something that some honourable members in another place particularly helped me out on. And for those in difficult circumstances, it's something that I hope that the government front bench will address. It has been the greatest honour of my life to have been elected to represent the people of North West Durham, and I hope to prove them a worthy MP and a campaigning MP, and that I will deserve their support and in elections for many years to come. Thank you.